Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher, back from my little mini hiatus. I hope everyone's having a great March so far. We've had a busy March. We had family. My mother-in-law actually ended up coming on Saturday instead of Sunday. So there wasn't as much stitching during part of the week as there could have been, especially Sunday. I just had a lot of trouble focusing. But we're back, and I've got lots to show. Well, I say that. How's everyone's week been? It's really good to hear. I apologize for not having done a video from Stitch Niche. I got in there, and it was going to be more than I wanted to try and deal with. So I didn't, obviously, do a video from there. But maybe next time. Alright, so we'll do our Q&A. I do have some haul to show. I have a new start and some whip updates. So I guess we will kind of dive right on in. So, we'll start with the Q&A. Perla Andrade Sanchez says that she absolutely loves the videos. And she managed to binge me in 2 weeks. That's actually very impressive. The Soda Stitch, if you've ordered them from overseas, I find it's generally 10 to 12 days to get to Texas. So I would imagine if you're on the West Coast, it's probably closer to the 8 to 10, and East Coast is probably closer to 12 to 14. East Coast is probably 8 to 10. West Coast is 8 to 10. California side is 8 to 10. New York side is, I'm going to guess, probably 12 to 14. Middle of the U.S. is probably going to be 10 to 12. That's my best guess. Let's see. Patsy Williams says, Garrett, the one time I tried to stitch on perforated paper, my stitches looked fat and lumpy. Your Oz characters look nice and smooth. Any tips for me? Well, no, hello, witch. Okay. So, if you actually look, mine are kind of fat. Because it's 3 strands are what you need, unless you're doing like I did with the Krennic, and then it's 1 strand doubled over. So that actually will affect a lot. So that's actually not too surprising. And I can show you another one that's still on the paper in a second. The main thing really is going to be just keeping your tension even. So so that's the big thing. You don't want to pull too hard. Paper is very sturdy. It can take a lot of abuse. What I do actually make sure that I pull each of my individual strands individually and then back together when I go to thread the needle. That'll help some too. Christy Donne asks, have I ever done a project with pulled thread / hardanger? I have not. I have a couple that I've got in my stash that I'd like to do, but I have not done it yet, so I can't answer that. I know Julia has, but I don't know. I've never done it myself. Emma Park asks, is there a big difference between US threads and UK ones such as Anchor, and do you use the UK version that often? I only have a couple of Anchor colors. I do prefer the Anchor black over the DMC black. I think it gives better coverage in general. I say that. I do have a couple of other Anchor colors. I don't enjoy Anchor all that much. I find that it shreds a little easier. So for me, I prefer the DMC. Otherwise, I haven't really experienced, I've never done Jawdry designs because I don't really do the colors that there's several in one strand. So I've not really used any UK threads beyond just the little bit of Anchor that I've used. All right, and I think that brings us to the end of the Q&A. I'm sorry, I try not to do that smacky thing, because I know that does bother some people. Okay, so let's start with the non-Stitch Niche haul, and then we'll move from there. So the lovely Kate turned some pins that I had into needle minders for me. So here we have Starlight Express, and these are actually former show pins that are barely worth anything. This one probably was, but whatevs. This was for Annie 2, the failed sequel to Annie. It was subtitled Miss Hannigan's Revenge, in which she tried to use a robot Annie to kill real Annie, and there was a song called You Can Be Annie 2. It eventually became the musical Annie Warbucks. Yeah. Without Miss Hannigan or robots. Paper Moon, which did not make it into New York. Christine Ebersole was in it. And yes, it was a musical version of the Ryan O'Neal, Tatum O'Neal movie. And then Meet Me in St. Louis, because the Broadway production totally flopped. And then a whole bunch, well, one Oz pin and then a bunch of Disney pins from when the Disney Store used to sell pins back in the early 2000s. So I have this Alice in Wonderland one. This Alice in Wonderland one. This Spoonful of Sugar one. This Bippity Boppity Boo. And this Nightmare Before Christmas one. And then finally, this was a promotional pin for Return to Oz when it was still just known as Oz. So there we go. All right, so I got those. Then we'll go to the Stitch Niche haul. While I was there, I got the blue water that I needed for Legendary Creatures, which I will probably work on this week some. But it actually ended up also working in my favor because of a new start I had that I'm trying not to show you without pulling this bag up too high. Come on, where are you? And it required one of the colors that I literally had just happened to buy. Oh, no, I can't find it. Okay, well, never mind. I bought a blue for that, and I'll show you what it actually looks like when it's stitched. Then I had to order from 123 Stitch. I had a little bit of a gift card left, and I needed some Krennics for a project. So I ordered those. Purple Mambo, Star Green, something, and something. Boop. But there those are. And you'll see what they were for in just a second. Although, if you have been on Facebook, you probably know. Anyhow, so at Stitch Niche, I got that blue. I bought needles that I thought I needed, but I accidentally bought the wrong size. So when I go this week, I'm going to exchange them. So first, I got this really cool free license plate frame that I haven't put on yet. It says Happiness is Doing Needlework, the Stitch Niche. I'm so excited for that. Okay, so from the actual needle market, I got, of course, the Silver Creek, Dorothy's Discovery. The power is there whenever you choose. It's found in your heart, not in your shoes. So I got that. I also got my first Heart in Hand. It's A Wonderful Life. And it says how wonderful life is now that you're in the world, which is from one of my favorite Elton John songs, and beautifully used in Moulin Rouge. And I actually did do a slight start on this during my I need something to do phase, but I couldn't figure out what, so I'll show you what little I started. Noah's Ark Christmas #1, Crocodiles and Giraffes. Fortunately, the giraffes are not on skateboards, because that would not be okay. And then in their clearance section, they had this one from the Cricket collection that I just fell in love with. It's an apron that says Spellbinding Apron. And then a bubbling skull that says that says take a sip, dearie. And it's actually, it's a mug. Okay. So eventually I'll stitch those for my kitchen for Halloween. But they were just too cute to pass up. And then I bought the one color in the Heart in Hand that I really liked, because it was a mix of Classic Colorworks, Gast, and Weeks, and I thought I can do my own conversion. But I really liked Clay Pot. Yeah, hair in my mouth. Okay. So, that was the haul. And so I started It's a Wonderful Life. That's as far as I got. I've got a Sesame Street needleminder on it. It's on one of the links of fabric that I got from my friend Erin. So I think it's just random 28 count even weave. But it was the right size. So I started with the mushrooms. So, but like I said, I was having major focus issues. I think because on Sunday, my mother-in-law sat on the recliner, and she sat on the couch with me, and I'm used to him being on the recliner, and I think that just completely pulled me out of my element. I'm weird, I know. Okay, I don't know if I had actually finished this in time for the last video. I don't think I had. So here is The Little Prince, part of Fairy Tale Land 2. I added the stars and a moon over here to counterbalance the fact that Cogsworth overhangs as much as he does. I also color converted his hair to be a sandy blonde versus the yellow and orange color that the snake was. And I did that by chasing my dog around and holding up to him. So here's this one so far. The next time I work on it, I will probably work on up and do Rapunzel. That way I can get this side just done, and then I can work on the other side where I'm not going to have to do the extension stuff. So, there we go. And there's a backstitched castle thing over here above them that I'm going to move over to line up with sort of him. So I worked on that, and it took a lot longer than I thought it would, but that's okay. All right, then Work That Whip was the 15th through whenever. So I worked on, of course, Storytime Sampler by Frosted Pumpkin. So I finished the Secret Garden spot. Normally I would have gone straight on to do the frame, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this to work, and I'm going to do the frame, and then I'm going to start in on the banner. So that hopefully by the time next month rolls around, I can fill in Sherlock, and the banner will be done, so that all that I'll have to do in May will be good old Dorothy. So but here's a close-up. I did do a few small tweaks to this one. I added some detailing to the door, and I also made her bow and sash pink instead of blue. The reason being, I thought between Alice and Dorothy, there were enough girls in blue and white that on the top row that I wanted to kind of balance that a little. And then, of course, I did the little hollyhocks as French knots. So, there's story time. And then my new start. It's not planned for a new start, but the ever lovely, ever fabulous Brooke of Brooks Books Designs was like, so I'm starting this collection, and I had to start it. and it's The Little Mermaid, based on the original tale, not just not the Disney film, although Ariel does look very much, or The Little Mermaid does look very much like Ariel. So that was what I needed the Crynex for. There's one color that I don't have because 123 was out of it, so Stitch said they would get it for me. But there's the chart itself. Glare, Okay. There we go, that sort of shows her off. I am doing her on paper. So I'm going to, for ornaments, so I'm going to do the portrait and these things. I'm going to try and combine into one ornament, and I'm going to do the fish attached to her hand, I think, but probably separately. Sort of like I did the Alice. And I'd forgotten just how much fun these small ones like this are. So here's where I'm at on her. I'm going to do work on her hair today. So she's got her hair and then some backstitch to do. Part of her hair will not be completed because it's the color of Krennic I don't have, so it's just going to have to wait until that comes in. But there she is. That blue there, that metallic, was the one I just happened to pick up. So there she is. She's so pretty. So I will be doing her as ornaments. And there's going to be, it's a set of, if you do it all in one, it's going to be 12. It'll be 4 rows of 3, but the last one is actually going to be a double piece. So it's 11 overall, but it would make up 12. It takes up the space of 12. So we've got the grandmother and the Sea King first, and then we've got below the Little Mermaid, who's in the middle, we'll have the Sea Witch, 2 sisters, then another row of 3 sisters, and then the prince, and then the final one's going to be Ariel and the Daughters of the Air. So I keep calling her Ariel. I know she's not, but that's who she is. So super awesome, and I love them. So yeah. I think that's kind of it for me this week. Stitch Knitch Meetup is on Saturday. I will be taking the Through the Stars Zodiac to do that for the month. So I'm going to try and finish up Ariel, and then I think I'm probably going to go to Legendary Creatures. I may go to Longfellow. The second week of April, I'm on vacation from work. My mom and I are going to IKEA, and we're going to get another, for my birthday, I'm going to get another hemness to do some organization, because I really need to get in there and organize things and see what I've got and reevaluate where I'm at with whips and things. So, because I tried, and doing the Sal's in Mania, that just overwhelmed me and kind of burned me out a little. So, yeah. And I probably will not do Stitch Mania this year. I say that, I probably will. You know me. So, anyhow, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see you all later.